Hi, everyone. Welcome back. If you are in the audience, it looks like we have a growing number here. Please say hi. Where are you joining from today? Put that in the chat. Love to hear that. I'm the substitute speaker. We had a cancel in the group, and I'm happy to be filling in with some AI content. Hi, Ellie. Thanks for joining. Teresa, welcome. Portia in Elk Grove, you're just up the road from me. I'm in Southern California. I'm in Rancho Mission Viejo today. Oregon, South Carolina, SoCal. Hi, Brenda, Carrie. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for dropping in the afternoon. I know sometimes it's hard to get motivated and you may be trying to catch up from your day. So thanks for joining. I'm hoping to provide you pretty helpful session today. So I do have some slides. Had to come up with this on the fly, and that's okay. It was kind of meant to be. So this week I'm working on presenting using AI in the workplace at my own organization. I'm a talent development manager for Belkin International. And tomorrow we have an all hands showing our group what our AI policy is and how people are using it in the organization and giving all kinds of productivity tips. So it was easy for me to transition that deck into a deck for us here, and with a focus on L&D. I am going to be sharing slides. So I'm going to put the link to those in the chat so you will have access to them. So let me switch gears and go ahead and just share my entire screen. Give me a second here. All right, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to I made my slides in Canva. For those of you that don't know Canva is an amazing slides producer. So that's the link that you got is a presentation version of this deck that I built literally within the last hour. So using AI at work, practical tips that we can use today. So before we get started, a little bit about the event feed. If you're new to AirMeet, here's some of the tools. And I just wanted to remind you that this icon here is for session chat. This one here is a Q&A pod. This is the participants. So if there's a participant that you want to connect with, click that. Click on that face of the person. You'll be able to link with them directly if they've put their LinkedIn profile or website on the chat. This little chat feature up here is the event feed. So when you're in a session, you want to be in the session chat. When you're between sessions and you want to post something to all the participants that are registered, you can put that up in the event feed. It won't show up in the session chat. So hopefully that is helpful information. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, 3 key things. Why AI? Why should you be considering upskilling in this area? It is important. I know it's a little scary, but we want to make sure that you understand why it's important. And this is an opportunity for us as women to become experts because this is such new technology. We really want to ensure that you're all at the front end of this. And then we also want to talk about policy and guardrails. I'll share with you what our policy looks like in the workplace. And then we're going to talk about some examples. How's that sound? Everybody good with that? You just check the chat feed. You're not seeing only the whole desktop. Okay, let me reshare. Sorry here. Let's see here. Fix that. Okay. Only the desktop. Let me try this one. Is that changing view for you guys now? Can you see what I'm seeing? Let me check the chat. Presentation view. Yeah, you should be seeing the slides. If you're seeing the slides, let me know in the chat. You should be seeing a using AI session map. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just popping back and forth. All right, cool. Okay. Why? Why do you need to learn AI? So this push and pull or carrot and stick is shared from another presenter, but I loved it. Super relevant. So Alice in Wonderland. Technology, AI technology is our current Red Queen effect. So in the book Alice Through the Looking Glass, the Red Queen has Alice running and running and running and keep going, keep going, and keep going. And with all that running and all that activity and energy that was being spent, they were still in the same place. So you need to look at this opportunity of technology and AI as our current Red Queen effect. You've got to keep up at a minimum with the news so that you're not falling behind, right? Okay, and then why AI? Well, if you want to be great at your job, you need something of great value to offer in return. This book is called So Good They Can't Ignore You. Cal Newport is a professor at a university, and he talks a lot about technology. He talks a lot about AI and how we need to keep up and upskill in this area. You can't ignore it. And it's an interesting book, but the idea that, you need to upskill. You need to be, of course, we're learning and development people, so continuous learning is important to us. But this book is a good reason to take a look at why upskilling can become your passion in your quest to love what you do. Any questions on that? Is that better? Hopefully. Let me know. It's a little hard. I don't have my double screen here, so I'm less able to see your comments in this view, but I'll keep going. At least you can fill me in and tell me if they're seeing what's showing on the screen. Okay. So in the chat, please tell me, what's your curiosity about AI right now? What interests you about it? How are you hoping to improve your productivity? What would you like to understand about AI?
Hey, just one quick thing, Cyndi, is I see there's your little dialog box of presenter window is showing. I don't know if you can see that.
You guys are not seeing what I'm seeing. Let me try. I think it's the reshare. I'm not used to sharing in this.
Yeah, one thing that you could do is if you export all of your slides to a PDF file and then share that.
That might be easier.
Yeah, that actually works pretty good. It's not terrible. I mean, actually on this end, if you want to expand the view of your share, you can go full screen with it and it's easier to see. But you just have to be able to be okay with seeing, what's on your browser and stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind. I have to kind of do it that way because I wanted to show you guys. All right, let's see. So the best share, I have the PDF.
Yeah, and just open that one up.
Just the PDF.
Yeah, open up the PDF and then you could share that one.
Okay.
And then you'll have to navigate the PDF, from slide to slide. There you go.
Okay, that works. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. All right, so let's go here. Back to where we were. Red Queen. The pull. You got to upscale, make yourself valuable. All right, in the chat, what do you want to get out of AI? What are you curious about, most curious about? Generating ideas, personas, and other initial stages. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Using AI to improve processes. User immediate coaching. Yep. Okay, cool. How I can use AI without getting private info into the public domain. Yep, we can talk about that for sure. How we use it to check our work and enhance it. Yep. I think I can help you with all of that. So you may have questions as I show you what's to come. But yeah, keep putting your ideas about AI. If you in the process of this session have an idea that you want to share, put it in the chat. That's a good jumping off point for us to continue the conversation after, right? So let me show you what I'm hoping to share with you first. First, what is it, right? Let's understand at a basic level, what is AI? So I decided yesterday to ask ChatGPT what AI is. And so it created a response for me, and you can see that response right here. It's a large language model. The purpose is to assist users. You can ask it exactly what it is and how it works, and it will show you that. It's pretty cool. So, I think in another share, I'll be able to show you how that worked. And I'll open up my Chat GPT session so you guys can kind of see the way it works. You have to have a policy. That's first and foremost. So before you use it, especially if you're on your company PC, and this link is an internal slide, you're not going to be able to access these links, but I'll show you what our policy looks like. You got to have a policy. So I tapped our IT CIO about a year ago and said, we got to create a policy around AI. It's coming fast, and if we don't put some guardrails in, we can have employees get in trouble. And the impetus for that was I had just seen an article about I work in consumer technology, and one of our vendors got into trouble. Samsung engineers put some of their internal code into ChatGPT and asked for improvements on the code, which is a valid use case for GPT. The problem is they weren't aware that they put all their IP out in the internet as soon as they did that. So GPT is gathering that data in the open portal and putting it and learning from it. Okay, so that was a big mistake, a big hard lesson learned. They were able to get that off of the GPT platform, but it took a bit before they realized they had breached their IP and put it out in the public. So there are ways to protect that, but I'll be honest, it's not foolproof. And even GPT, even when you put that, don't learn from what I'm creating into the tool, there's still no guarantee that it's not adding that information on the back end. So 3 key parts of our policy are: you got to get approval to use it before you build with it if you're going to be building on your company issued PC. You need to set up usage limitations. Your CIOs, your IT people, they understand what some of the pitfalls are, what some of the dangers are, and you need to be careful with that. And so make sure that your policy includes what those limitations might look like. And then there's some requirements for AI generated content. As a company, it's important for us to be transparent. If we're going to write a blog and we're going to get some of that information from AI, we're going to credit AI. If we made an image in AI, we're going to credit AI. So that's just our go forward policy. And so I encourage you to, if you're part of the L&D team at your organization and you're going to be required to train on AI, I would encourage you to talk to your IT folks about using a policy. How are we regulating the usage of AI internally? Well, it's up to your teams. Our teams actually do have the tools to be able to see when those tools are being used. They get permission from the user. So I have permission to use ChatGPT on my computer, and there are actually tools that can track everything you're doing, every step you're doing in that software. So that's how they're able to see what we're doing. But for the large part, they're trusting us that we're not, putting data, vendor data, IP, NDA, non-disclosure data into the system. That's really important. So if anybody wants the copy of our policy, it's about 3 pages. We, for the most part, are using the European AI guidelines because in Europe, they're far ahead of the US in terms of ethical use of AI and putting some safety and guidelines in terms of policy and corporate use. So look at the European model for any regulations. That's what we're using right now. Okay, so examples of AI's practical applications. So the examples I'm going to be using are coming from an article that was published this month in the ATD website. Danielle Wallace is the author of that article. She's a chief CEO of Blue Sky, which is a learning and development house. And she made an article about the 10 uses of AI for learning and development. So we're going to explore those. All 10 of her examples are examples that I have seen or have used myself. So I'm going to share that with you. And we might go back and forth between actually using AI. So we'll show you some live examples too. Of course, I had to ask GPT itself, what are the most common uses of chat GPT from your users? Because, GPT is learning every day from its user, from the millions of people that are using it. Currently, when you ask it for research or content, it's using anything that's on the internet up to 2021. So that I'm guessing that will get updated by the end of this year to include anything up to 2023. So keep that in mind. If you ask for information to research, it's limited, and you'll have to do your own past 2001 what has been posted to the internet, right? But here are the 10 things that GPT said its users are using it for today. General information and questions. I ask it general questions all the time. Just the other day, I couldn't remember how to do a certain formula in Excel, and I said, I'm going to ask GPT, and sure enough, came right back with the exact formula I needed. It was great. Writing assistance, definitely. Learning and education, yeah, I consider GPT. I'm a team of one, so for me, GPT is my assistant. It's the assistant that I wish was sitting in the desk next to me. So it helps me a lot with learning, education, research, creative inspiration. I've used it for some fun things, like we have a group of 10 on our HR team, and we want to come up with a Halloween costumes that kind of have a theme. What do you suggest? And it spits out answers. So fun stuff like that. Problem solving, entertainment, and conversation. That's something that Luis and I had a quick chat about. Conversational use of AI is growing in popularity. So we'll explore some of that. Personal assistance. Yeah, but it can help you adjust your schedule to be more productive. Like, it's crazy. Technical support. I used ChatGPT to help me fix some code for my LMS welcome page that's HTML based. I don't know. I'm not an HTML. I don't know how to use it. I have a very rudimentary education of HTML. I needed a grid with some titles in it and a background image, and I asked GPT to help me make that, and it did. It was great. It works great. Technical support, language translation, and social interaction. So those are some of the ideas that GPT provided for use cases, and ATD has its own list. So number one is to produce many ideas. So program creators like us can use GPT to create examples of training programs. So let me switch gears and go to my OpenAI so you can see. Okay. Of course, program examples. This is one of the most important things I do with ChatGPT is get help sometimes brainstorming a course. So in order to set it for my AI class, hopefully you can see this. In order to set it for my AI class at work, of course, I asked ChatGPT. I'm going to show you the prompt I created was act as an AI expert, facilitating a workshop for an audience of individual contributors who have access to OpenAI. What are some of the ideas using GPT to improve daily work productivity? And it gave me a list. You can see this list it created right here: data reports, market data analysis, project management assistance. So I'm creating the workshop based on this output of how we can, and I probably won't have time to show them all, but I can show a lot of these ideas. And then, of course, I want it to expand, right? Now, detail the steps to execute each of the items listed above, and it did that. Okay, so now when I pick the ones, like we're gonna show an example of market analysis for consumer technology. So we're also going to show examples of team meeting support. We're going to show examples of email automation and response. Okay, so a lot of cool things that GPT basically created a course for me, or at least the start of it. And then I was able to build out, more questions and build out the session from there. Any questions on that? Okay. Going back and forth again here. Man. Support data analysis. All right. So you can use it to take data that you've created and have it give you back analysis. So what I will do is go back when we jump back into my OpenAI, I'll show you how I did that. There's some sales region data. There's also a report on, like, I can take a report from my LMS, the content that people are clicking on or the courses that they have started. I can download a report of that and it will tell me by region what's popular. And so that could be good insight for me in my role. Another example is to gather content from meetings, right? So if I need to create an agenda, or if I have a meeting transcript that I need a quick example of how to, like, get the key points out of that transcript, I can do that. So I'll show you how I did that with some of the content from an earlier session today when we jump back into OpenAI. Someone's using a tool. Great. Thank you. Please keep sharing tools that you're using. Okay. And then YouTube recaps. This is a big one for me because sometimes I use YouTube videos as like a resource material, right? So I can go into YouTube, copy the transcript, and have it do a one-page summary for me, of that YouTube video. That's super helpful. Or if it's a lecture and the lecture is an hour and a half long, I can take that whole transcript and have it give me the 10 key learning points of that. And I'll show you an example of that when we go back into my AI. Improve your storytelling. Okay, so AI can get very creative, and this is one of those that is fun to play with. So I'll show you an example called Robo Nostalgia that one of my mentors, Josh Cavalier, shared with us. But it was a conversation that he created of two robots talking to each other about AI. Creating role play scenarios. Now this is there's a typo in that slide, of course, because I made it in the last hour. So, of course, role plays are important. This is, I think, one of the biggest opportunities for us as learning and development managers is being able to role play. We know that role play is important for learning a new skill, but it's not fun. It's not fun to role play in person. It's much easier to role play with a robot, where it's just you and the chatbot. And you can set this up yourself very simply and very easily. So I will show you how I set up a role play scenario for one of our supplier roles. Okay, generating quiz questions. So the actual authors of this article used their article to create a quiz. So if we have enough time, I'll show you how to do that live using their example here of creating a multiple choice quiz based on their article and an open-ended higher level thinking quiz. And we'll see what it outputs. Number 8 was creating rapid training videos. An example that I can tell you about is someone showed me recently how they took Beyond AI's tool. They copied their About Me portfolio on LinkedIn and they plugged it into the Beyond AI video creator tool, and it created an About Me video that this person now has on their portfolio. Now, I don't use AI, Beyond AI, but I would love to see if any of you have been able to do that because I think it's genius. So he took his little profile and it made about a 1.5 minute long video about him. It just automatically created it within minutes. So that's amazing. That's super cool. And then something to think about is that some of the tools that we are using every day, like Articulate, are going to come out with some pretty advanced AI functionality this year. It's coming really soon. One of those things is you'll be able to create a course through Articulate with an AI tool. This is specific to Storyline. And basically you upload your resource documents. So it can be a lot of text, right? The resource docs. It will take that and guide you through an AI-led process of creating objectives. It will present to you based on what you uploaded. Here's some suggested objectives, and then you kind of decide which ones you want to keep. You might want to change them or whatever, and then it starts to create a course for you. And it will take heavy content and create an automated video that looks something a little bit like Synthesia. So this is the year to get familiar with our not only articulate storyline, but it's going to get a lot easier to create courses here as soon as they start to make some of those AI features live. Number 9 was generating unique images. I personally haven't had a chance to do this yet, but it's getting better and better. I'm watching it. I'm just kind of waiting for it to get a little bit better, and it's getting there. It's getting really close. In terms of video generation with Synthesia, you just upload a script and you've got a person speaking. It looks like they're talking. That's easy. But to be able to create an image of something in your head, it's getting better. Canva does have that. Probably the more common tools are Midjourney and DALL-E. DALL-E is part of OpenAI as well. And then practice conversations was that last tip. One of the probably most important things for us to look at is how we can use it to take complex interactions in our business and create practice conversations with the user. So the way I would like to see this in my workplace is to develop a coaching guide for my leaders. One of the key skills for managers is to become a better coach. So I want to create an internal guide for that with OpenAI. And I can see somebody's putting a suggestion of a tool called Guide, which may be what it might already exist, right? And all I got to do is bring it in. So, okay, so let me switch gears and go into my AI. Does anybody have questions so far while I switch screens here? Okay. All right. So let me show you some of these things that I'm talking about. So, all right. One of the ones we wanted to do was taking the article and creating a multiple choice quiz, right? So let me go back into that screen real quick and grab that text for the prompt. I'm going to take the AI ATD article and create a prompt. Let's see here. Just copy this. Okay, I'm going to create a new chat. This is ChatGPT. This is the free version, 3.5. I do pay for the pay version. It's $20 a month for the pay version, and that's called ChatGPT 4. It gives you a bit more. It's a better output in terms of writing. DALL-E is in there, so I can get images. But for today, I'm going to show you the free version. So what we want to do is show you how to.
Hey, Cyndi, I'm not sure if you're wanting to share your screen while you're doing this.
Oh, I thought it was sharing. Let's see. Maybe it changed. Can you see my screen? Yes, now you can see my screen.
There it goes. There he goes.
All right. So I took the prompt that was in the training article, that ATD article, and actually, I think I need to move to GPT-4 for this one. Yeah. Okay. So the prompt is in there. And now I'm going to attach the article. So before the workshop, I took a PDF of the article. So let me just attach that here. You can see it's like attaching it. Okay, now it's just about done here. Okay, so my prompt is in there. The article is in there. I want it to create a quiz question, one open-ended, one higher level. And let's see what happens here in a second if it can get it to run. There it goes. Okay, so it's thinking. You guys can see the output, I hope. There it is. Pretty impressive. It's doing it pretty quick. Of course, I could read through the article and try to create these questions, but it's nice to have a little bit of time savings and have it do it for me. It's not going to replace me because I have to validate all this, right? So keep in mind that you still need to show that is true material, that it makes sense, that it didn't make anything up. ChatGPT does sometimes hallucinate, so it's important to keep that in mind. Okay. But if I wanted to, I could go back and have it regenerate. The thing about ChatGPT is I could put this prompt in and again, and it might create it'll probably create entirely different questions or answers. So it's not consistent in terms of you're going to get the same answer every time. It's going to rethink what it already offered, and it's assuming that because I prompted it again, it wants to create a new output. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, another example was, let me see, supporting data analysis. So let me show you how I did that. Okay, so this prompt looks long. Basically, I asked ChatGPT to take some data that I had and give me a SWOT analysis, or strengths and weaknesses about it, half of a SWOT, right? So I just took the data feed, just you can see that it has names and it has the comment from my training, and I just dumped it all in there, and I want it to now tell me what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses. And you can see the result that I got. This is an old example, but it's pretty good in terms of giving you a start of like recapping everything pretty quickly, saving you that time. Okay. Content from meetings. Oh, okay, let me show you this one. This is one we're going to create. Okay, so I want to take the comment section from Kim's course earlier today, Kim Scott's course. Let me find it. And so I copied all the chat. That's what this is. I just took the whole chat, copied the whole thing, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to extract the links within that chat, and also, and I'm going to go back to the free version here, and also the name of the person that provided that link. So please review the following chat dialogue and give me a list of links shared within the content. Precede the link with the name before. Something like that. I don't know. Sometimes it's not perfect. Okay, so I copied in the chat. Hopefully it's going to understand what I'm asking for and create it. I got to scroll down. That's the whole chat in there. You can see it would take me forever. Oh, look at that. It took me scrolling to the bottom it took the whole chat and gave everybody's name and link. Pretty cool, right? Saved me a lot of time. All right. Okay. The next one was synthesizing and summarizing data. So let me show you how I did that with the YouTube video. And that was the YouTube recap. Okay. It's in my history. Let me find it. YouTube recap. I'll show that to you here. Feel free to ask questions while we're doing this. Oh, here it is. Okay. So what I did was, you can see that this is a transcript. So in YouTube, when the YouTube is running, you can see a transcript. You can copy that transcript, that whole thing. So all I did was help me recap the key points of this transcript. This was a professor that was giving some tips. So it did that. It answered, of course. Here's the recap. Here's the speaker. Here's the theme. He was answering leadership questions from online students and attendees of the program, how to make meetings useful. And it gave me a quick recap. Love this. I can make this into a job aid, right? A job aid, or I can build on this to make maybe a micro learning. Okay. All right. So how about improving storytelling? So improving storytelling, I was going to share with you the robot example that my My friend shared. Okay. So Josh Cavalier does a course. It was about $100. I think it's still about the same price, but it's called Mastering AI for L&D. And he shared this scenario. Act like a comedy writer. There's two characters. One's an old crabby robot who talks about the old days of natural language processing. The character two is an old crabby robot who agrees and supports character one. They're actively working on computers. The characters have a job. He wrote this whole detailed script about these two crabby robots, and it wrote out a script. Okay, again, I know there's a fear that AI is going to take people's jobs away in terms of like the entertainment industry's freaking out. And this is why, right? Because it's pretty creative in terms of taking a prompt and creating a whole script. And the next thing you can do is take this script and plug it into, a Beyond or something like that. And Beyond AI would create this script for you, this little video for you. So there's fear in that for sure. But again, you have to be the one that's validating what is shown, and so keep that in mind. You're still going to have a job. You're still going to have to validate that. It's still not going to be perfect writing. So but it gives you a head start, right? We might just see stories created sooner. How about role play scenarios? So, okay, the role play scenario that I want to share with you is a real one that I had for supplier Q&A. So we have suppliers that we use. We are a manufacturing company, and we have procurement buyers, and they do have problems with their suppliers. And so I wanted to troubleshoot some of the common things that our procurement team would be having to deal with some of their suppliers. And so I asked it a simple question: act as a procurement buyer and help me troubleshoot some common questions. And what's nice about this, it does give me kind of a role play here, or at least a question and response. I can create an FAQ based on this, run it by that team, and they can build on this, So it's a great start, again, for me as a team of one, trying to help my teams be more productive or create better guides for themselves. You can see that this output is pretty good, and it's giving us, when the supplier says our details are too confidential, this is the response we would give. Or if we have to cancel an order, this is the response that buyer might give. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking at your comments here. It does help with the white paper. Yeah, when you're just stuck and you got to create, somebody's asking you to create a course. I don't know, can you help us train our team XYZ? And they don't even have much to give you. It's a good place to start, So as part of the training analysis, you'll be getting an idea of what the end goals are in the training, and you can plug those ideas and that analysis data into GPT and have it give you a suggested at least course outline or training outline. Okay. Number 7 was we did the quiz, the rapid video. I can't show you because I don't have Beyond AI, but I would love to see you guys share that. Oh, practice conversation. Okay. So Luis made a career coach that is a great example of a practice conversation. So you should be seeing the TLDC career coach here, created by Luis. Thank you, Luis, for sharing this. I know it didn't take you very long to build this. It's pre-prompting with some questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick what skills are essential for learning expertise and see what it provides. And you can see how fast it's doing that. Foundational laws, curriculum development, assessment and evaluation tools, authoring tools, proficiencies, learning management systems. It's even giving suggestions of which learning management systems to look at. So this is doing a great job of giving us an idea of the skills within the competencies that are important for a learning experience designer, and it's giving some suggestions. Okay, I love that. You could follow up with questions here, right? So maybe if you wanted to give you a better idea of what kinds of, competence in analyzing data, design decisions, and improve the impact of learning, you could follow up a question on data analysis. Give me ideas of, further detail on data analysis or report types that would be impactful for creating strategy or something like that, and see what it gives you. All right, and I think that was it. We covered most of them, and we've got a little bit of time left. Okay, let me stop sharing. I'm going to share one more thing here. Any questions?
Yeah. Hey, Cyndi, I do have some Q&A questions. Can we go over some?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. Let me bring that up here. All right. Probably the most recent one. Let's just start with that. This one's from Stephanie. Can you share again how you would enter the company data without it becoming part of the internet knowledge base, or is that part of the company's paid service? Is that something you enter in the prompt, or?
Let me show you how you can make it. You can tell GPT to not enter what your prompt is into the learning data. It's a setting. So I can show you how to do that if it'll let me screen. It's still not, it's showing the question. So if you can take the question off, I can go back into OpenAI and see how, show you how that works. Okay. Within OpenAI, if you go down to the bottom here, your name is there. And this is where you can do settings, like I have multi-factor enabled so that people can't hack into my chats. It'll give you an idea if there's plugins. It will, and this is where you control chat history and training. So if I want to turn off the training version, if I want to create a chat and have it not share that, I'm going to turn that off. And then if I want to delete all my chats, I could do that. It'll wipe everything out. I don't want it to do that yet. But now I know that nothing that I put into this now is in the training history. So I could, I could do that. And that way, whatever you're putting into the chat is not technically supposed to go into the training history, but I'm not fully trusting of that yet. So if you're going to take data like user information, so if I do like that LMS report that I was talking about, if I do want to put, create, some kind of data analysis on what my learners are interested in, I would probably create a coding for the employee names so that the names aren't in there, and then put that data in there, so they might, the data, and I would do it in here and have it analyze that data in this, with the training enabled off. Again, that's down here in the profile where you click on settings and it's in data controls. Okay. And then if I do and there's other things in here like, exporting data that you've built. You can export all your chats. And, I haven't even explored all these things that are in here yet. I still have to go in there and explore all these things. There's another way to train the GPT too is, let's look at customized chat GPT. So this is interesting. It kind of, you can tell GPT how you want it to talk to you. So I gave it my profile. This is kind of who I am. And if I want it to be more concise with answers, or maybe I want it to give me answers that are more C-level and strategic, and I want it to sound a bit more like I'm a higher level leader. I don't need all the details. I need the C-suite version of what I'm asking you. And so I could put that in here and it will totally change the way the output is. It makes it more concise. It makes it a little bit more elevated, a little bit more professional. So, so I still love ChatGPT for that kind of control. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, here's this one's from Janelle, and the question is how to use AI to improve processes or provide user immediate coaching in e-learning practice sessions. How would you do that? I mean, do you have a process in mind, Cyndi? Like if you were to, there was an e-learning practice session, you wanted to provide some immediate coaching.
Yeah, you can do that in the instructions in the prompt.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can find one because I know I have one. There's a way for you. This is part of like what I would recommend is maybe looking at some of those suggestions from Josh cavalier on prompt engineering. He does a lot of it for free. Let me see if I can find one. But basically, you would, in the prompt, you would say, act as a, career coach. And I want you to start with a question. What are you looking to explore today? Tell it what question to start with, and tell it that you want it to engage in a back and forth. When I respond to you, I want you to follow up with a question. And it basically builds a chat bot for yourself within the prompt. I'll have to go through my suggestions to see if I have one. Let me see. Is this one? No, that was an LMS. Yeah, I know I have an example of one, but I have to dig it out in here. So
Okay.
I'll use
Can
that as a follow up.
I'm just curious, Cyndi, have you used the mobile version of ChatGPT 4?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, it's wild. You can just talk to it like it's a regular person.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why that's why one of the reasons why people kind of get into trouble with ChatGPT is because you can talk to it like it's a person,
yeah.
that
It's a
can,
it's
yeah,
like when I talk to it as a person, it reminds me of my friend Marcus, who was really, really smart. I went to college with him and he just seemed like he knew everything. And so when I talk to him, like when I talk to that chat GPT instance, I I want to call him Marcus because he just has all these great answers for everything.
right. I know.
And it's scary. Mostly we discuss like recipes and stuff like for cooking, but
Right.
anyway, sorry. Let me get
I
on.
had an example that one of my IT guys said, "Oh, I took all the important birthdays and anniversaries and like dates I need to remember, and I plugged them into GPT and asked it to create calendar links for my calendar that I could just upload into Outlook, so it automatically." And he was like, as amazed, it did it in minutes. It's just so smart
Wow.
that way. So for life you can use chat gpt. That's one of the ways to
Yeah,
like organize your life without having to go through all your records and birthdays, and like you can do it in minutes. It's
it's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one from Stephanie. How do you demonstrate ROI to have instructional design staff / training classes if managers just hear AI can do this and replace everything?
Yeah, but I don't think managers believe that. So I think most the idea that AI will replace, you know I just don't think. It's still too young. It's still too new. It's still too hallucinogenic to like actually replace a real person that can verify information. So I think it's too new to have those discussions. Do we need to teach teams how to use AI? Absolutely. I think this is why we're doing our workshop this week. We estimate that if our teams begin using AI in the workplace, they can save themselves anywhere from 10 to 15% of their day. So if I can give people back 10 to 15% of the time they spend at work at day, then that gives them more time off to go and recharge, which is one of our values. I don't want them to do more with that time. I want them to be more productive so they can have more rest time to recharge and come back better tomorrow, ready to tackle what we need to do tomorrow. So that's one of the reasons we're using it. We are also a super agile team. For a global company with as many products as we build, with as many countries as we're in, with as many projects as we have going on. We're only 1,000 employees, which is relatively small for a large consumer electronics company that's in every 22 countries. So for us, this kind of productivity is really important. Better quality of life, productivity, anything we can help them to like take the mundane and make it a little bit easier. That's what we're looking for. So
Excellent. Love it. Okay. How about this one from Portia? How are we regulating usage of AI internally and how would we?
yeah, so your IT team will answer that better than I, but they do have, because this is a company machine, my browser is managed by my employer. They can see everything that I click on. It doesn't mean they're looking at it every day, but if they're curious what exactly I'm doing on OpenAI, they have access and they have tools within the browser that help them to see what I'm up to. So some of it is trust, right? It's part of the policy that we have. And so, one, we're very clear about what we want people to use AI for in our policy, and they need approval. We need to know what tools are being used. So I told them that I'm using ChatGPT. I'm also using a note taking tool called Blocks. And what that does is I turn it on at meetings. I tell people I'm using an AI note taker. Does anybody mind? I get everyone's permission. It's BLOKS. I turn it on. It's listening like an attendee of the meeting. And as soon as the meeting's over, I hit stop. And within about a minute, I have a full recap of the meeting with important notes, with action items. I can look at that recap, manipulate it, and send out a meeting recap like right after the meeting, like within 10 minutes of the end of the meeting. And it's been so helpful. That tool has been approved because all of that data that it's using, and it's listening to my voice and creating text, and then once it's created that recap, it deletes that voice that it had of me. It's gone. It's all encrypted, and it's a safe tool to use. So as long as the IT team can vet it, then they give the green light and they know it's safe to use. And also, we do have NDA non-disclosure agreements that are important. We have some pretty high-profile clients that we build product with or for, including Apple, Samsung, Google. So we have to be very careful with those products. So we take those NDAs seriously as well, and any NDA projects they can't use AI at all for.
Excellent. Okay, so let's see. Well, Natalie has one here. Let me show it on stage. Can you tell us how you can build a private instance of AI? But I think that's probably beyond the scope of this conversation. Yeah, because there are open source resources you can use to build your own LLM. Go ahead.
OpenAI does have the ability to do that for companies. So if you go to the OpenAI site, you'll see a section, I put a link in the chat, that says, that gives you instructions on how you can use it in enterprise. And so, if you look under the enterprise, it talks about building a private LLM through OpenAI. There's lots of companies that are doing that now. So yeah, your IT team probably is already looking at that. The other thing to consider, some of them are waiting, like ours. We don't need to build an LLM because a lot of the software that we use is going to incorporate AI. One of the big ones that we use for CRM is Salesforce. And Salesforce does have an AI tool that they're using within the product. It's going to be part of the product. We're just waiting for that to be released. But it's going to free up a lot of the tasks that are, manual tasks that our teams have to do. So we're also waiting for some of our tools to do it on their end, so we don't have to. Zoom has a built-in AI. Teams has a built-in AI as part of Microsoft and Copilot. Copilot is also used in a tool that we already have called MoveWorks, which is creating a resource for us. So we're piloting it right now. So basically, with that MoveWorks AI, which is a tool we already own, I can set that on the SharePoint site. People can ask it questions and get answers and resources to policies that are within our SharePoint right from that. So you may not have to build it. You might already have tools that use it.
Excellent. Okay, let me go ahead and mark that one as answered. Okay, I have the last one in the QA area, and then we'll go ahead and close up the session. This one is from Michelle King. How can we get a copy of Belkin's policy for reference?
Yeah, email me. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to send it to you.
That's very generous of you.
Happy to share it with you right now. We probably need to update it soon, given that one has been out since, when did we launch? I think we launched it in the fall. So that's it. Last minute.
Cyndi, thank you so much for pulling this together so quickly. Hopefully we'll be able to get Lala in later. I know she's been messaging me on Slack, so we're still connected. We'll try to get Lala in, and also Leia from yesterday, who also we had some technical difficulties. I think we're going to be able to reschedule her as well. But we do have one more session left for today, and I highly recommend joining us at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's with Christine Thomas. Breaking up is hard to do. 5 tips for breaking up with a customer. Christine has spoken with TLDC in the past. I think for this event last year, she and her partner were both speaking for their organization, which was CK. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, please return for that one. She's fantastic. And with that, we've got an hour break, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.